I bet you have wondered about how a website can turn your photo into an anime character, right? You upload a regular selfie, hit a button, and boom. A few seconds later, you are looking at an anime version of yourself. It feels like magic, but I promise you, it is really cool technology at work. Let us pull back the curtain and see what is actually happening behind the scenes. To understand this, we first need to think about how computers can learn. Imagine you are teaching a computer to tell the difference between a cat and a dog. You do not program it with a list of rules like if pointy ears, then cat. Instead, you show it thousands, even millions of pictures of cats and dogs, and it figures out the patterns itself. The key is, these computers are not just memorizing. They are actually building an internal understanding, almost like a really complex network of tiny decisions. Each time they see a new image, they try to apply what they have learned. It is similar to how a child learns what a chair is by seeing many different chairs, not by being given a definition. So, if we want a computer to turn your photo into an anime character, what do we need to teach it? We need to show it tons and tons of anime. Think of it, thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of anime characters, faces, hairstyles, eye shapes, all carefully labeled and fed into the system. But it is not just anime. The computer also needs to understand your world. So, alongside the anime images, it is also trained on an equally massive collection of real human photos. This creates a bridge. The computer learns both what real people look like and what anime characters look like. The goal is to teach the computer to see a real face and understand its underlying structure, the shape of the nose, the distance between the eyes, the curve of the mouth, and then translate those same structures into an anime style. It is like having a translator who speaks both human face and anime face fluently. Now, let us say you upload your selfie. What happens next? The website sends your photo to this powerful computer system. The computer does not just see a jumble of pixels. It is designed to analyze the image in a very specific way, looking for patterns it has been trained to recognize. The computer starts by breaking down your face into its core features. It identifies where your eyes are, the shape of your nose, the lines of your mouth, the contours of your jawline, and even the style of your hair. It is like an artist sketching the basic proportions before adding details. This leads to an interesting process. Once it understands your features, it then consults its vast knowledge of anime. It asks itself, how would these specific human features typically be represented in an anime style? For example, your realistic eyes might be translated into larger, more expressive anime eyes. The key technology behind a lot of this magic is often something called a generative adversarial network, or GAN. Imagine two artists working together, but also competing. It is a bit like a student learning to draw and a critic who tells them what they got right or wrong. First, consider one part of the GAN called the generator. This is the creative artist. Its job is to take your real photo and try to draw an anime version of it. Initially, it might not be very good. Its first attempts might look blurry or just plain wrong. Then something interesting happens. There is a second part, the discriminator. This is the critic. It looks at the anime drawing the generator created and tries to decide, is this a real anime character that I have seen in my training data, or is this a fake one made by the generator? What emerges is a powerful feedback loop. If the discriminator successfully identifies the generator's creation as fake, the generator learns from its mistake and tries to draw a better anime version next time. It is constantly trying to fool the critic, and the critic is constantly trying to get better at spotting fakes. This cycle repeats millions of times. The generator gets better at producing convincing anime faces, and the discriminator gets better at distinguishing them from real anime. Eventually, the generator becomes so good that it can create anime versions of real faces that are incredibly difficult to tell apart from actual hand-drawn anime. This is crucial to understand why it is more than just a simple filter. A filter just applies a predetermined effect, like making colors brighter or adding a blur. This AI system actually understands the underlying structure of your face and redraws it in a new artistic style, feature by feature. One of the coolest parts is how it retains your unique identity. Even though your eyes might become huge and sparkly and your nose simplified, you can still recognize you in the anime version. The AI learns which core facial structures are essential to your likeness and carries them across the style transformation. It is not just faces either. The AI also processes your hair, often simplifying it or stylizing it to match common anime hair tropes. If you have glasses, hats, or other accessories, the system learns to interpret and render those in an anime style too, often with surprising accuracy. At the core of these GANs are neural networks, which are loosely inspired by the human brain. Think of them as layers of interconnected nodes, each passing information to the next. The early layers might recognize simple edges and shapes, while deeper layers identify more complex features like entire eyes or mouths. This layered approach is part of deep learning, allowing the computer to grasp very abstract concepts. It is not just seeing a round shape, but understanding that this round shape, combined with these other shapes, forms an eye, which is part of a face. It builds understanding from simple to complex. What is fascinating is that different websites or apps might use slightly different algorithms or have been trained on different data sets, leading to variations in the anime style. Some might produce a very classic shonen look, while others lean towards a more modern, cute, or even gritty anime aesthetic. The quality of the training data is paramount. If the AI is trained on low-quality anime images or a biased dataset, its output might reflect those imperfections. The better and more diverse the examples it learns from, the more versatile and convincing its transformations will be. The AI does not just copy. It learns the aesthetic rules of anime. This includes things like how light reflects off hair, the typical shading used for skin, the emphasis on certain facial expressions, and even how clothing folds are often simplified. It is a complex artistic language it internalizes. It is important to remember that most of these systems are transforming a 2D image, your photo, into another 2D image, the anime drawing. While some advanced techniques can infer 3D structure, the core task is a style transfer that happens on a flat canvas, mimicking artistic conventions. You might notice some websites take a few seconds, while others are almost instant. This often depends on the complexity of the model and the computational power available. Transforming an image this way requires a lot of calculations, often handled by powerful graphics processors in the cloud. A quick thought experiment about this: where does your photo go after you upload it? Most reputable services explain their data policies, often stating they do not store your images or use them for further training without explicit permission. It is always good to be aware of what you are sharing online. Beyond just turning selfies into anime, this technology has vast creative potential. Imagine designers using AI to quickly prototype characters, animators speeding up the style transfer process, or even personalized art creation where an AI adapts to your preferred aesthetic. This is just one example of the incredible leaps we have seen in AI art generation. From turning photos into paintings to creating entirely new images from text descriptions, the field is evolving at a breathtaking pace, constantly pushing the boundaries of what computers can imagine. What also becomes clear is the increasing accessibility of these tools. What once required highly specialized knowledge and supercomputers is now available to anyone with a smartphone and an internet connection. This democratization of advanced tech is really exciting. So, the next time you transform your photo into an anime character, remember, it is not just a filter. It is a sophisticated AI system that has learned the intricate language of both human faces and anime artistry, all through countless examples and a clever feedback loop. The biggest lesson here is that AI is not just about crunching numbers. It is capable of learning and mimicking human creativity in genuinely astonishing ways. It is turning complex artistic transformations into something anyone can experience, and that is pretty amazing.